to make sure that coming out of this process, that when I choose someone, I'm clear that this is the person that I want, and it's not just the person that I spent the most time with. You did tell me that you want your wife to take your last name.
I think that's like a natural thing. Like,
I mean, is it?
Yeah.
To Sabrina, a black woman who knows her worth. Hi everyone, this is Sabrina P. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review Ready to Love episode 11. Let's get right into it, guys. So the first scene starts with the gentlemen. They're all going to the gentleman's lounge and they're talking to Tommy. Tommy is letting them know that it's getting serious. It's the final four. We have Clifton, we have Demetrius, we have Pio, and we have Donovan. And he's letting them know that it's time to get serious. There's no time to play games anymore. He's also letting them know that he tried to meet up with Tina, but Tina ghosted him like she ghosted all the other members. And she decided that she's not ready to love, so
bye, Tina.
He's also letting the gentleman know that now that things are very serious, he wants them to introduce the ladies to their family members. And the gentlemen are like, next, we see Clifton, his cousin, and his uncle. He's ready to introduce them to Joy. He's letting him know that he's been in the process of Ready to Love and he met someone that he really likes, and her name is Joy. And his cousin and uncle, they both seem excited to meet her. So Joy came. They give each other a nice sweet kiss and a nice sweet hug. And I'm like,
y'all been doing the do now.
She introduced herself to the family and they ask her question. It's going really well. And at some point we learned that one thing that Joy has some fear about is that she has to travel to Mexico 6 months out of the year, and she's in fear that that might be a problem. And we can see that she's emotional about it. And I'm like, oh, Joy. But a part of me feels like if they're really meant to be together, this is definitely something that they can work together to make it work and find a way, to have balance in the couple. I don't think that long distance relationship is impossible. You just really have to do a little bit more work that you would have done if you were close to each other. Clifton is saying that he knows it's not going to be easy, but it seems that he is open to it. It doesn't seem like it's a red flag for him. I can guess that they may have talked about it before and that he's aware of the situation. So I think, I kind of want to root for them. I want to root for Clifton and Joy. So Joy leaves and his uncle and his cousin tells him that they really like her, that she was very genuine, and that they really feel a connection between the two of them. So we can say that this was a good meeting. Next scene, we have Donovan and Sabrina. Donovan and Sabrina are meeting to clear the air because on the last episode, Donovan made some accusation towards Sabrina. So when they both get there, Donovan says that he's the one that gave a call to Sabrina to meet, and Sabrina got there. But then when she's there, I feel like Donovan is giving her like, his face is not the usual Donovan. It seems like he has an attitude. And they start talking. And he's basically telling Sabrina that he was not happy when she said that Donovan was not really involved with her. And that wasn't really making an effort toward him. And that Donovan did not agree with what Sabrina said. And he's making it clear to her. And he also feels that during the process, Sabrina has not been as involved with him. He feels like she has not been making, effort to get to know him better. And the part of me is like, so why is it coming now? Why is it coming after Sabrina was being honest enough to say what she thinks of you? Like, why did you wait until Sabrina said what she had to say to now telling her all those things? And Sabrina disagree with you and basically is letting her know that he moved on with Carmen. And Sabrina is like, yeah, that she had a problem when Donovan moved on with Carmen because during the weekend, Donovan was not only flirting in the jacuzzi with Carmen, but they both were sleeping in the bunk bed. I mean, Donovan, what do you expect? A part of me feels that Donovan thought that because he's a handsome man, both Carmen and Sabrina were going to run after him. Carmen probably would have been okay to run after him, but Sabrina does not give me the vibe of I'm gonna run after anyone. And I think that just hurts Donovan's feeling. Let me all know what you think in the comment, y'all. At the end of the meeting, they both agreed that they're not going to be compatible. Donovan prefers to focus on Carmen, and Sabrina prefers to focus on Demetrius. Next scene. Paul and Dakia are meeting. Paul set up the meeting with Dakia because he would like to clarify the things that Miss Carmen said in the previous episode, the accusation that she made saying that Paul said that he was not sexually attracted to Dakia, and he's basically trying to explain to her what happened. He did have a conversation with Carmen, and when she asked him about the type of woman that he liked, he said that he wanted a woman that he would be attracted to sexually. And when asked about Dakia, he didn't give a response, but he feels that Carmen turned the word. And a part of me feels like 50-50, to be honest with y'all. I feel like it's not impossible that Pio have said those things. And to be honest with y'all, I feel like Pio just want to be in the show. Pio is interested in Dakia. He might be interested in Dakia, but why didn't see her at the beginning? You know what I mean? Like, why is it now? Like, everything is sounding so rushed. But because Carmen and Dakia do not have a good relationship because of everything that happened with Eric and Carmen attitude, Dakia believes Pio. And Pio then asked her if she's willing to meet his family. And she said, okay. She's a little bit on guard because she feels like it's a big step. But she appreciates the fact that Pio is willing to introduce her to her family. And then a part of me is like, see, that is the problem with this show. I know that there is a system, and then whenever the couple are getting to a certain point, they're supposed to meet each other's family. But Pio and Dakia just started to get close, and they're not even that close. So now, because you want to stick with the system and you do not want to have some type of flexibility, you're forcing those people to meet each other's family. And I understand why Dakia is on, she's not sure about it, but she's being fair play, and she's accepting. But deep inside, she knows that her and Pio are not there yet. Let me all know what you think in the comments, y'all. Scene, we have Donovan and his mom. Donovan seems a little stressed because his mom has to meet with Carmen. And his mom, she seems to be a case. And, she's really like extroverted. Then Carmen comes in. Carmen comes in and she has flowers for the mom and she has flowers for Donovan. And I'm like, Carmen came in like a man. So Carmen comes in, she has the flowers and she gives them both hugs and she's sitting there and she starts talking with the mom. They both obviously have things in common because they're both single moms. So definitely, that worked out. And then the mom, she was really happy that Carmen came with the flowers. She really liked the attention. So they start vibing and the mom is like ready to tell her all the tea. And Donovan is like,
nah, mom, no, don't do that.
And Carmen is like,
Yes, I want to hear it all.
But in general, they both exchange, background. They talk about the fact that Donovan's father was not there in his life. And Donovan got emotional about it. And I feel bad for him because I'm sure it's not easy, to not have a relationship with your father. And then Carmen is saying that her son has not seen of his father in 8 years. So they do have things in common and they're vibing together. So the date went really well. And Donovan's mom really liked Carmen. And I'm just going to give y'all my opinion, y'all. Like, I feel like Donovan and Carmen, they can be good friends. They may date, they may have sex a little bit here and there, but they both don't seem serious to me. They really don't. Let me all know what you think of Donovan and Carmen in the comments. Next scene, we have Demetrius and Sabrina. They want to meet because they want to clear the air. Yeah, that table talk, everybody got a lot to say. They want to clear the air. And basically, Demetrius wants to let Sabrina know that she's his number one. He's been listening to what she said during the table and he wants to make it known to her again. So they get to talk, it starts well. Sabrina will explain to him how she feels about the whole submissive thing that his friend said. And I think I do understand Sabrina because, you know, when you're very close, when you have a friend, they see things in you that you may not see in yourself. And it may not be that Demetrius himself said that he wants to be with a submissive woman, but that might be the vibe that his very close friend feels that that's what he needs. And I understand why Sabrina is on the fence because that's your very good friend that's talking, right? But Demetrius does not understand why she feels that way, especially that he made it clear that this is not what he is looking for. That's when I kind of put myself in Demetrius' shoes and I felt like, you know what? If Demetrius is willing to say, this is not what I'm looking for and everything, Sabrina, you may want to compromise on that and give him the benefit of the doubt. I think that Sabrina's problem may come from the fact that whenever his friend said what he said, Demetrius did not say, no, you're not correct right away. Demetrius at that time went along with what the friend said. And I think that that's probably why Sabrina is not convinced, because he had to like come back later and now say, yeah, that's not how I feel. But a part of her is like, well, if that's not what you feel, you should have clarified it then. I am not Sabrina, but this is what my intuition is telling me that Sabrina is thinking. Sabrina, if you come across this video, we never know in life, please leave a comment. So Sabrina also explains that Demetrius has a very strong aura and that he may not realize it, but because his aura is the way he is and that she's also a very strong woman, they may just not be matching. And then it gets to the whole last name situation, and Sabrina is like, what do you think about you marrying someone and she takes your last name? And he's like, well, that's the most normal thing. And effectively, in the norm, when a woman marries a man, she takes his last name. But Sabrina is like, well, in my last marriage, I didn't take his last name. And Sabrina is not really telling us why she does not want to take her husband's last name or why she didn't take it in the past. But she's making it known that for her, if we do get married, I don't feel like I should have to take my husband's last name. And Demetrius is like, this is important to me. So I feel like looking from a third party, we can already see how there will be a battle of the will between the two of them. Granted, I do not know why Sabrina does not want to take her husband's last name whenever she gets married. She may have her own reason, but she didn't get to explain to us during the show. And then she's like, well, you know, it's not a big deal. And the part of me is like, well, if it's not a big deal, you could also take his name. There is a lot of discussion that needs to be happening between the two of them, you know? And people have to understand that when you clarify certain things, but then something else come out and then it goes a certain way, those are probably those little things that make Sabrina not sure with Demetrius. Like, that's probably the little things that make Sabrina feel like maybe Demetrius and I, there will be a battle of the will in the long term, and she does not want to go through that. And I understand her. So they go from that to Demetrius letting her know that his family is going to be in town and that he would like for her to meet them. And she's like, I don't think we're there yet. I'm like, I agree. Cheers. I agree with Sabrina. Obviously, there's still some work that needs to be done. It's true that it is part of the show system that at some point the couple have to meet the family, but this season has not been a smooth ride. So I do feel like production should have been a little bit more flexible and not force people to follow a certain path, especially when they've been going through ups and downs, and that it even took them a long time to even solidify who the perfect match is. Next scene, we have Paul and his brother Kellen, and I'm like, Kellen is cute, and they're going to meet with Dakia. Dakia comes in looking pretty as usual, and she introduces herself. Kellen asks her questions. She basically gives him a resume, tell him what she's about, the engineer thing, the ballet and everything, and it's impressive. It's like being in a job interview. Kellen keeps asking her questions, and in general, they have a good time. And Pio is saying that he just prefers Dakia than he prefers Carmen. So the date went well. The brother asked a lot of questions, and then Dakia leaves. And when she leaves, he asks his brother, what do you think? And he's like, well, you know, I feel like his questions were very interview like. And I'm like, yeah, a response for interview like, because your question were interview like, and also because the truth of the matter is that they just started dating. They just started thinking about being an item, and that's probably why things are not as smooth. They're not kissing like Joy and Clifton were kissing. Things are very new for Pio and Dakia. And Dakia is being honest in a confessional, and is saying that she thinks that Pio and her may not have that spark, and that they may have a good friendship, but nothing else. And I'm glad that Dakia is able to see it, and she's not forcing herself to go into something that may not be what it is for her. In conclusion, Kellen likes Dakia. He thinks that she will be a good fit for his brother. On the last scene, the gentlemen are back into the lounge, and they're all telling Tommy how their date went. Clifton is happy. Everybody is telling Tommy how things went. Donovan is saying that he's focused on Carmen and the date went well. He also tells him how everything went, his discussion went with Sabrina. Demetrius is also telling Tommy what happened with Sabrina, and is letting him know that Sabrina did not want to meet his family. And Tommy is shocked. Tommy's like, what? Why? That should be an indication for you, Mr. Demetrius. You need to make a decision based on that and everything. And a part of me is like,
Tommy.
you're not being fair. I understand it is your show, but I do feel like if a woman is not willing to meet someone's family, it's maybe because the man is not doing what he's supposed to do. And I feel like the vibe that was given was, you chose her and she's telling you no, you need, it's a red flag. And it's like, it's not that it's a red flag. It's just that for a long time, she wasn't sure, and then she's still not sure, but they want to move forward. So I do feel like on this note, Tommy, I was not really on your side. But I do understand that for you, your interest is in the show. For the show, for the production, you just want things to happen the way that you plan them. I want your opinion on this, y'all. Tommy is telling Demetrius that he would like for Demetrius to meet with Sabrina and to clarify things once and for all. Last scene, we have Demetrius going on a date with Sabrina. She comes in, she's looking pretty in a tight dress. Demetrius is also looking good. They hug each other, they compliment each other, and they're breaking the ice. Then Demetrius is talking and telling her how he feels, and Sabrina also tells him how she feels, and she explains to him in detail that because of where she is from, so I think that Sabrina is just not African American. She may have another background. Let me all know if you're in the comment if you know where Sabrina is from. And she's saying that in her culture, when you meet the parents, that means that you're very sure. And she doesn't want to do that. And that is the reason why she didn't accept to meet with Demetrius' family, because it's a very big deal. And she's just not going to do it on the show. Because this is what I guessed. When she first said no, I'm like, that may be a reason. That's what I guess. And then seeing it now, I'm like, okay, yeah, that was what it was. She's being honest with Demetrius, and she's telling him, I don't think that you and I will match. I don't think that you and I will work. I think that there will be a battle of the wills long term, and I don't want to lead you away any longer. And that's why I want to remove myself from the show. And Demetrius is shocked, and he's like, man, it started with you and it's ending with you. And a part of me is like, Demetrius, if you really feel that Sabrina is the one for you, you can actually properly court her after the show. You know what I mean? Like, if maybe time is what you all needed and this process was just too quick for you all, there will be opportunity for you all to get to know each other better if you're really that serious about her, and if it wasn't just about getting to the final for the show. Because a part of me is thinking that some of those people just want to look good on TV, you know what I mean? And I understand it's a dating show. Nobody wants to look like a fool. Nobody wants to be jilted. But it's also your life. Some of you may have been very serious about the process and really came to meet someone. Has the strength to say, you know what, I don't think it's going to work and I'm going to remove myself. I prefer that than what the other couples did in the previous season of Ready to Love, when they are acting like, yeah, they're ready to love, they're ready to love, and by the time they get to the reunion, they haven't talked. You know what I mean? Like, it's not everything you're gonna do for TV, because as you have seen, it always come back to the public. We always end up knowing who ended up being real and who ended up just wanting to look good on TV, and you then end up not really looking that good. Sabrina removed herself. She's not ready to love. There's nobody for her in that show, and that's why she made that decision, and I applaud her. So Sabrina, yeah, see guys, that was my review of Ready to Love episode 11. If you're new here, welcome, and I invite you to, and if you're not new here and you've been following me, thank you all so much for your support. I invite you to comment. This show has been a lot, and I would love to share with you all. On this note, I will see you all next week. Bye.